Hello grade 6, how are you today? I hope you are fine. We are going to study repeated multiplication. So in the beginning we need to know the meaning of repeated multiplication. So repeated multiplication is multiplying the number by itself number of times. Repeated multiplication is multiplying the number by itself number of times. So if we have 4 times 4. Now, number 4 is multiplied by itself 3 times. Number 4 multiplied by itself 3 times. So, we have number 4 multiplied by itself 3 times. So, number 4. So, 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4 times 4 equals 4 to the power of 3. Okay, 4 times 4 times 4 equals 4 to the power of 3. So this number is called 4 to the power of 3, or called the third power of 4. The third power of 4. And now we have 4 to the power of 3. The number 4 is repeated and called the base. And number 3 is times of multiplying. Number 3 is times of multiplying. We have 4 times 4 times 4. So the times of multiplying 3. So we have 4 to the power of 3. So 3 is times of multiplying and called the power. So the base is 4 and the power is 3. So 4 to the power of 3, 4 to the power of 3 equals 4 times 4 times 4. And 5 to the power of 4 equals 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. 4 times. And if we have another example, if we have -3 times -3 times -3 times -3. So -3 times -3 times -3 times -3 equals -3 to the power of 4. -3 to the power of 4. And -3 to the power of 4 equals 81. Positive 81. So -3 to the power of 4 equals 81. And 81 is the fourth power of -3. So generally, if we have an integer number a, if we have an integer number a belong to z. So a times a times a times a times 4n times. If we have a times a times a times a 4n times equals a to the power of n. So a times a times a times a times 4n times equals a to the power of n. And n belong to positive z. And if we have 2 to the power of 2, so this number is called the square of 2. So 2 to the power of 2 equals the square of 2. 2 to the power of 2 is called the square of 2. And if we have 2 to the power of 3, 2 to the power of 3 equals or called the cube of 2. The cube of 2. So 2 to the power of 3 called the cube of 2. And if we have 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 1 equals 2. 2 to the power of 1 isn't written. The power of 1 isn't written. And now we need to know the basic laws of repeated multiplication. The basic laws of repeated multiplication. Number 1, law of adding powers. For example, if we have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 equals 2 times 7. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So number 2 is multiplied by itself for 7 times. So equals 2 to the power of 7. And we can put 2 times 2 times 2 inside brackets, 2 times 2 times 2 inside brackets, times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 inside brackets equals 2 to the power of 7. And we know that 2 times 2 times 2 equals 2 to the power of 3 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 equals 2 to the power of 4. And 2 to the power of 3 times 2 to the power of 4 equals 2 to the power of 7. So now notice the relation between the powers. The relation between the powers. We have here 3 and 4 and 7. And the relation between these powers is 7 equals 3 plus 4. So we can say that 2 to the power of 3 times 2 to the power of 4 equals 2 to the power of 3 plus 4. Generally, we can say that if we have A belong to Z, if we have A belong to Z, and M and N belong to Z. So, if we have A to the power of N times A to the power of M equals A to the power of N plus M. Number 2, law of subtracting powers. So, number 2, law of subtracting powers. If we have 3 to the power of 5 divided by 3 to the power of 3. So 3 to the power of 5 divided by 3 to the power of 3 equals 3 to the power of 5 over 3 to the power of 3 equals, we know that 3 to the power of 5 equals 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 for 5 times over 3 times 3 times 3, and this fraction equals 3 times 3, and 3 times 3 equals 3 to the power of 2. So 3 to the power of 5 divided by 3 to the power of 3 equals 3 to the power of 2. So notice the relation between the powers. We have here 5 and 3 and 2. So we know that 5 minus 3 equals 2. So if we have 3 to the power of 5 divided by 3 to the power of 3 equals 3 to the power of 2 equals 5 minus 3. 5 minus 3. So generally, if we have an integer number a belong to z, and we have m and n belong to positive z. So a to the power of m divided by a to the power of n equals a to the power of m minus n. And focus with me. If we have 3 to the power of 1, 3 to the power of 1 equals 3, because the power of 1 isn't written, so 3 to the power of 1 equals 3, and any integer number, 5 for example, to the power of 1 equals 5. And remember, from the previous examples we take negative 3 to the power of 4, negative 3 to the power of 4, and we say that negative 3 to the power of 4 equals 81. So negative 3 to the power of 4 equals positive integer. So if we have a to the power of n, if n is even number, so the result would be positive. And if n is odd, the result would be negative. Here would be positive integer, and here would be negative integer. Example number 1. Find the result of each of the following. Letter A, 5 to the power of 2 times 5 to the power of 3. Who can solve this question? Letter A, 5 to the power of 2 times 5 to the power of 3. Excellent. 5 to the power of 2 times 5 to the power of 3 equals 5 to the power of 2 plus 3 equals 5 to the power of 5. Letter P. 6 to the power of 4 times 6 to the power of 5 over 6 to the power of 7. And now, if we need to solve this question, we need to find the production of numerator. So we need to find the production of the numerator first. So 6 to the power of 4 times 6 to the power of 5 over 6 to the power of 7 equals 6 to the power of 4 times 6 to the power of 5 equals 6 to the power of 4 plus 5 over 6 to the power of 7 equals 6 to the power of 4 plus 5 equal 9 over 6 to the power of 7. And now we have 6 to the power of 9 over 6 to the power of 7 equals 6 to the power of 9 minus 7. And 6 to the power of 9 minus 7 equals 6 to the power of 2 equals 36. Example number 2. Complete the following table as in the first case. We have here the number and the square of the number and the cube of the number and the fifth power of the number. So if we have, for example, the number equals a, so the square of the number equals a to the power of 2, and the cube of the number equals a to the power of 3, and the fifth power of the number equals a to the power of 5. So if we have the number 2, so the square of the number, who can solve this? The square of the number 2 equals 2 to the power of 2, and the cube of the number 2 to the power of 3, and the fifth power of the number 2 to the power of 5. Excellent. So we have the number equals -1. So the square of the number -1 to the power of 2 equals 1 to the power of 2 equals 1, and the cube of the number -1 to the power of 3 equals -1, and the fifth power of the number -1 to the power of 5 equals -1. Now if we have the number 3, who can get the square of the number? Right, equals the square of the number 3 equals 3 to the power of 2, and the cube of the number 3 equals 3 to the power of 3, and now the fifth power of the number 3 to the power of 5. -4, the square of the number -4 equals -4 to the power of 2 equals 4 to the power of 2 equals 16. The cube of the number -4 to the power of 3, -4 to the power of 3 equals -64. The fifth power of the number -4, so the fifth power of the number -4 equals, right, -4 to the power of 5 equals -4 to the power of 5. Example number 3. Find the value of 3 to the power of 4 times -3 to the power of 5 over 3 to the power of 7. Now who can help me to solve this question? So 3 to the power of 4 times -3 to the power of 5 over 3 to the power of 7. Yes, we find the production of the numerator first. So if we have 3 to the power of 4 times -3 to the power of 5, 3 to the power of 4 equals 3 to the power of 4, and -3 to the power of 5 equals -3 to the power of 5 over 3 to the power of 7. So we find the production of the numerator. 3 to the power of 4 times -3 to the power of 5. Positive times negative equals negative. And 3 to the power of 4 times 3 to the power of 5 equals 3 to the power of 4 plus 5. 4 plus 5 equals 9. over 3 to the power of 7. Now negative divided by positive equals negative. And 3 to the power of 9 over 3 to the power of 7 equals 3 to the power of 9 minus 7. And 9 minus 7 equals 2. So we have negative 9. Example number 4. Find the value of each of the following. Letter A, negative 7 to the power of 2. Who can solve this? Negative 7 to the power of 2. Letter A, negative 7 to the power of 2. Negative 7 to the power of 2 equals negative 7 times negative 7. And negative times negative equals positive. 7 times 7 equals 49. Letter B. Negative 5 to the power of 2 times 2 to the power of 2. So first we need to find the value of negative 5 to the power of 2. Negative 5 to the power of 2 equals 25. 25 times 2 to the power of 2 equals 4. So 25 times 4 equals 100. Now letter C. Letter C. Negative 2 to the power of 4. Negative 2 to the power of 4 plus negative 3 to the power of 3. Negative 2 to the power of 4 plus negative 3 to the power of 3. So how can we solve this question? Equals negative 2 to the power of 4. We find the value of negative 2 to the power of 4. So negative 2 to the power of 4 equals negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 equals 16. So 16 plus negative 3 to the power of 3. And negative 3 to the power of 3 equals negative 27. So 16 plus negative 27 equals 16 plus negative 27 equals negative 11. And you can provide this using the line numbers. And now we have letter D. Negative 1 to the power of 100. Negative 1 to the power of 100 plus negative 1 to the power 101. Negative 1 to the power 101. So how can we solve this? Now the first term we have negative 1 to the power of 100. So the power 100 is even number, so the result would be positive. So 1 to the power of any positive number equals 1. So we have positive 1. And plus negative 1 to the power of 101. 101 is odd number, so negative 1 would be negative 1. So the result would be negative. So we have 1 plus negative, and 1 to the power of any positive number equals 1. So we have 1 plus negative 1, and 1 plus negative 1 equals 0 from the additive inverse property. Letter E. 2 to the power of 3 plus 2 to the power of 2. 2 to the power of 3 plus 2 to the power of 2. So 2 to the power of 3 plus 2 to the power of 2 equals 2 to the power of 3 equals 8 plus 2 to the power of 2 equals 4. So 8 plus 4 equals 12. Number 5, arrange in an ascending order. So we need to arrange from the smallest number to the greatest number. And now let's try to solve this question using the calculator. Negative 2 to the power of 5. Negative 2 to the power of 5. Negative 2 to the power of 5 equals negative 32. So we have negative 32. And negative 3 to the power of 2. Negative 3 to the power of 2 equals 9. So we have 9. And negative 4 to the power of 0. Negative 4 to the power of 0 equals 1. So we have 1. And negative 1 to the power of 15. Negative 1 to the power of 15 equals negative 1. So we have negative 1. And 3 to the power of 2. 3 to the power of 2 equals 9. So we have 9. And now we have the numbers. So we just need to arrange in an ascending order. We have negative 32 and 9 and 1 and negative 1 and 9. So the smallest number here is negative 32. After that, we have negative 1. After that, we have 1. And after that, we have 9.